Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Applebees, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brien here with Rob and Ashley, and we have Michigan and the Prelude and probably some other nonsense to talk about. So, folks, how we doing this week?
Doing good. Tonight's watch-along event is High Limit at Eagle Raceway. It's a pretty good show so far, and house favorite Casey Kane is in the program. They brought the 39M out there, and we're going to keep True Love abreast on what's going on out at Eagle as we plow through this episode. How you doing, True Love?
Yep, ready to get it over with. Let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, we got a great video of the week to talk about, and True Love also has a bunch of, not Love Island, right? It was Below Deck?
Oh, it is Love Island.
It is Love Island,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Below Deck was last night.
Gotcha. So the clock's a ticking.
I'll have to write you out my schedule, my soap schedule.
Yeah. Well, Brien was at Michigan this weekend, and only for Sunday, right?
Yeah, only for Sunday. I mean, I probably would have gone up for at least Saturday, if not Friday, just because both Bobby Blaze and Kyle were at the track, but my parents were in town, so that could not happen. So just Sunday.
Oh, well. Did anybody watch ARCA?
I mean, I watched a little of it, and I think my parents got here around the time, I think Cletus spun that race, didn't he?
Well, it's tradition at this point.
He did, yes.
Yeah. That was the last thing I remember seeing, and then I heard it got rained out at the end.
He did get the pole. I do know that.
He did get the pole.
He did do that. So good for him.
I see a note here that Daniel Dye sucks in ARCA.
He was in this race, and he spun out by himself on lap 2.
Nice.
So, good to hear that he'll be running a cup race soon.
Ah, yes.
For BJ. So.
Yeah, well, I guess he can take all the money he needs. Maybe that coaster isn't doing as well. So please get down to Pigeon Forge, folks, and support BJ McLeod's roller coaster so we don't have to have Daniel die in the car coming up here.
Yeah. But other than that, pretty uneventful. Bobby Dale Earnhardt spun out, and then they had a restart on lap 49. Gio got the lead. Lap 50, Cletus got in the wall. Him and Ryan Vargas got together and collected Andy J. And then during that caution, the rain came out. So exactly the halfway lap, they called it for rain for Gio. So not much of a race.
Doesn't sound like it.
Nope. Laney Bice got a top 5. Slimp Biscuit, 9th. Squirrel McNutt, 10th.
Squirrel McNugget. It's kind of funny how he outdrives Cletus.
Yeah, he finished 4 spots ahead of him. So
nice.
There's also an ARCA West race. I didn't watch it, but it was in memory of Greg Biffle out in Washington State, and it was won by some kid named Cole Denton. So
nice. Cole Denton?
Denton.
Oh, Cole Denton. Okay. Not that it really matters. I just thought Cole Denton is a very weird name.
First time I've ever heard that name, so good for Cole.
Same.
This is not a West Coast ARCA
Nope.
podcast by any means.
Too far away.
See, I guess that leads us to trucks. Yeah, I was watching bits and pieces of this. Again, I had stuff going on, but I saw the end and I saw most of the middle. So, what else did I miss?
Let's see. I will say that Cletus got sideways on his qualifying lap and saved it and still out-qualified Frankie Muniz. So
Yeah.
this was
Well, those-
Chastain's last truck race of the year.
Oh.
His 8th one. So I guess, is that the limit? I don't know anymore.
It might be.
Yeah, the limit's 8 now, and I'm kind of surprised he got them all done so early in the season, but I guess he can't run in the playoffs, so.
Yeah. Which apparently we're still 12 races away from, which is fucking crazy to me. I thought we were way further into the season than we were, to be honest.
Feels like it. There was a caution on lap 7 because Frankie Muniz decided to go 3 wide on the bottom for some reason and got loose and took all 3 people out. So
Perfect.
That's good.
great job there.
I didn't watch a second of this, so I'm learning along with the listeners here.
Skim through my notes. 58 to go. Cletus spun out. Didn't hit anything. I don't fucking know. Oh, there was
America's number
squirrel-
one unrefined motorsports
Yep.
podcast.
the Squirrel Curse Part 4 came back. Cole Butcher had a very hard hit with about 30 to go.
What is he going to have to do to get this lifted?
I don't know. A die, apparently.
It's just it's eye for an eye.
Yeah. There was a moment I thought was a little funny just because this booth was so terrible. They did replace Jamie Little this week, though, with, what's his name, Brent Stover?
Yeah, it wasn't Eric. I know that.
No, who was a little better, but there's a moment where Mikey said, Hocefar's been leading all day at his home track, and Brent had to remind him that Bell won both stages, so.
Good job, Mikey.
Yeah.
Not even the booth cares.
Yeah. But the end of the race was just Heim coming up through the field. He
Yep.
got the lead with 14 to go, so.
And they did. Was there a late caution, or was the battle for just the last couple laps?
Yeah, it was just the last couple laps between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty good battle with Caden Honeycutt and Heim for the lead, and Heim just did his best to block him and get the win, and surprise, surprise, Caden Honeycutt was a whiny little bitch getting out of the car.
Yeah.
I mean, I get being annoyed in a sense that you're former driver of your truck comes out and wins a race in your team's other truck, but I mean, man, come on. You would have thought he would have heard some of the feedback last week with all the shit he was talking. Like, hey, man, knock that shit off. And nope, just a real whiny baby about it.
Should have just beat him. Should have just won the race instead of not winning the race.
I don't think you can get upset about someone for blocking you on the last lap for a win.
No,
Yeah.
not really. Especially not in this day and age. That's kind of to be expected. And I know Caden Honeycutt would do the exact same thing if given the opportunity. And I like Caden. I really do. I think he's a great driver, and I just wish he'd keep his fucking lips zipped a little bit more.
I did see a great tweet of someone saying that Honeycutt is the Truck Series Austin Hill with how he behaves in interviews.
Yeah, it's kind of getting to that point, is it not?
Yeah, that's very true.
And I guess in an interview, Heim said that Honeycutt needs to get thicker skin and deal with it.
Yep, that's exactly what he said. Yep, which is true.
Also correct. Yeah, a lot of truths coming out here. Yeah, good for Corey Heim.
Heim's 3 wins and 5 truck starts. So.
What's the stat with him? He's won 30% of the truck races he's entered, or something crazy like that.
Oh, I don't know. I do know that he has
That
now
sounds
won
about
at
right.
22 different tracks in the Truck Series, which makes him second on the all-time truck list.
And he's like, what, 11 years old, I think, Corey Haim? It's fucking insane, man.
Yeah. A couple notes I had going, if we're done with this race.
Yes.
I think Truck Series is off next weekend, so their next race is at San Diego. And I guess today it was announced that Brendan Gaughan will be entering that race.
Very exciting.
And also, friend of the program, Kyle Ayala and his grandfather, Raymond Ayala, will be honored on 2 of the Nice trucks at San Diego because they both served in the Navy
men,
there.
yeah.
So, very cool.
Yeah, I saw him post about that, and that made my heart flutter a little bit. That's really special. Really special stuff.
That's all the truck news I have.
Trucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Let's talk about Brian's weed run out to the great state of Michigan. Let's get to that.
Yeah, well. So going into my day, a couple things to talk about on Saturday. So, Richard Childress did a press conference, kind of talking about Kyle and all the stuff that's been going on. And he said that this was supposed to be the announcement of Kyle staying in the 8 car, or re-signing with the 8 team, which, we kind of guessed that was going to happen just because he had no real other options. But still kind of just sad all around. And Richard also said that, it looks like Austin Hill will be in the car for the rest of the year.
Somehow even sadder news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Practice and qualifying, there were a lot of flat tires. Obviously these guys are, trying to test their setups and test the limits. And, this led to a bunch of people having to repair their cars, one of which was Denny Hamlin, which I did not even realize until the race started that's what happened. Like, I knew a few guys went to the back, but, the race starts, like, where the fuck did Denny go? And then I had to go look on Twitter that I think it was announced Sunday morning that, they repaired the diffuser and he had to drop at the back. So
yeah,
that was a little confusing.
One thing I will say about Austin Hill, I really, really liked the Rebel bourbon scheme they had, or lack thereof, this weekend. Just that matte black car with the number and just the text on the side. I love a good matte black race car. I always loved the 78 back at Furniture Row because it was so Spartan. And I thought that was a nice, classy move in honor of Kyle, and kind of matched his late models as well. So I thought that was a good-looking race car right there, even if I wasn't thrilled with the participants.
It did come out, I think it was Bob Pockrass had written about this, but it said that Jesse Love is possibly not a candidate for that car going forward.
Yes.
Because of the THC and nicotine sponsor. I was not aware that you have to be 25 to drive a sponsor of that sort.
Well, my favorite part of the whole thing is the fact that not only do you have to be 25, but you have to look 25.
I thought
Jesse
it
Love
was,
does not.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing was that the sponsors didn't want him because he looked. I didn't realize he had to be 25, but I didn't even think 3Chi was still on the car. I can't remember the last time they had a paint scheme. But now they're talking about Noah Gragson going to that car, which
perfect. The weed tobacco, fucking whiskey car. That's him. Yeah,
definitely a good fit sponsor wise to have him in that car. So yeah, sure, why not? I mean, Noah has not done anything in the Cup Series in any of the cars he's been in. So I mean, why not? I mean, maybe it's a good move for him. Probably most people would view it as a lateral move at best, but sure, why the fuck not?
One more thing that I thought was nice from that press conference was, we all know that Richard said that the 8 was Brexton's what he wants it, but he did clarify that doesn't mean that he has to race for RCR. If he ends up going to Hendrick or whoever, that he can still take that stylized 8 that his dad designed with him. So.
If he wants it,
Yeah.
That was sweet. Speaking of Brexton Busch, out at the shootout today at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Very touching tribute out there. Also, forgot that my boss was the announcer for that over at Pit Road TV, Tony Stevens, and Steve Post out there helping cover that. But yeah, Brexton out there ripping in a fucking legend car.
Yeah, I thought they did a nice thing where they let Tom Bush lead a lap
Yeah.
in Kyle's legend car.
Yeah, very, very
Kurt's
special.
been there too, supporting them. So.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I guess, so we'll get into my day at the track. Leave Cleveland around 9:30 and, drop the dog off at the kennel because I wasn't going to be home till late, so put him up. And it's funny how we talked about street legal race cars last week because I happened to run into one. As I'm approaching the highway, I had to stop at the gas station, and right in front of me was this 80s Nova that's all painted up like Dale Sr.'s Bush car, only it was numbered with 13 instead of 3, and like it must have had the guy's name on the roof.
It's fucking sick.
I get out of the car and immediately go approach him because, of course, I see this fucking race car. I got to go look at it. And, it was very well done, like very well done. Had the roll cage, had the racing seat, and guy climbed out of the car and everything. It was very cool. But I'm like, hey, you taking that thing to Michigan? And he's like, what's in Michigan? What the fuck are you talking about? You're wearing a Winston Cup shirt and driving a race car, and you don't know the races today?
To be fair, a guy wearing a Winston Cup shirt and driving a fucking Dale Earnhardt Bush car around might not have watched NASCAR in 20 years.
I guess. I was talking to him for a couple minutes, and he said he also had a Car of Tomorrow, which was the last ever Morgan McClure car that hit a racetrack. He said he didn't have an engine in it yet, but he had the full roller and was planning on working on that. And nice enough guy, just kind of chatted racing for a minute. He's like, you probably wouldn't remember the Car tomorrow. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
I
was just as mad about it as you were.
Did you ask him how he makes his money?
No, I didn't get into any of that stuff. It was just a couple minutes of racing chat while we're at the gas station. So
that's a good line to drop in there at 30 seconds after meeting somebody.
Yeah. From there, off to the track. I got there about 1 o'clock. Went to the gypsy tents, and they are just the worst as they've ever been, like just complete garbage that not really even worth looking at them at this point. But I happened to look at, there's always one tent there where the guy has a rack of vintage shirts that are way overpriced, but he had this like 84, 85 Tim Richmond old Milwaukee car shirt, and it was my size, and like I don't think I've had that shirt before, but never in my size.
Yeah.
So I was like, at $65. I was like, well, I don't know. I had a good day at the flea market yesterday and was having a good sales weekend. So I was like, I'll see if I can talk him down a few bucks, and he gave me $10 off. And then he was like asking me where I was from, and I mentioned having a bunch of other shirts and shit. And he's like, oh, you want to sell any of that? I'm like, not to you.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty sure it was the same guy that 2 years ago tried to check me on my Ernie Irvin knowledge. So
damn.
I don't know.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the interaction, but I got a cool shirt out of it. So
it's like, listen, motherfucker, I was here when Ernie died at this place in '94. Yeah, well, one thing, that Tim Richmond's shirt is fucking sick. I'm sure we'll post a picture of it. I do want to share this with the class, though. I know I said this to you guys earlier, but I love that every single Tim Richmond t-shirt that's ever existed, it looks like he just got stung by a bee and he's allergic to bees. Like, he's always looks swollen and fucked up.
Just happy. Just got cheeks full of joy.
Yeah.
From there, go in the fan zone or whatever and just kind of walk around. And even at that point, the merch trailers seemed busier than usual. Because, I've been going to Michigan now for a few years, and Michigan is never that well attended. Like, the last couple of years it's been going up and up a little bit, but this year just seemed busier than normal.
It looked crazy on TV.
Yeah. But before I went to my seat, so we've obviously talked about the free Zins and other nicotine products at the track, but the only nicotine.
Yeah, you can take a break if you want, True Love. This is the next 30 minutes of the show.
The only nicotine being handed out on this day was Grizzly, and I've yet to try those. So I was like, yeah, give it a shot. And they did the standard 5 cans for $5 deal. I knew their pouches went up to 12, but I didn't realize they also did 15s.
Oh, yeah.
Which seems insane. So I got a handful of those, but also the very cool thing I enjoyed was you got a free beer with any purchase in there. So that was cool.
All kinds of buzzes.
Yeah.
That's the. What else do you want out of an activation?
No, I mean, it was perfect.
Nicotine and alcohol? Like, come on, let's go. Did you try a 15 while you were there?
I tried one like Monday, first thing Monday morning. My first one of the day was a 15,
That's a call.
I thought I'd be flying off that, but they do seem to last a bit longer, and
Yeah, it's more of a slow release kind of deal, and you just are
which is probably for the best.
Smoking a cigarette for 3 hours instead of
But yeah, so getting to the seats, and yeah, as mentioned, it was busier and more packed, and the track actually did announce a sellout, which I guess was a little surprising. Again, like, I can't remember the last time this race would have been a sellout, and they were obviously, when they say a sellout, like, yeah, there were a couple empty seats here and there. I'm sure ticket brokers buy those, and because that's what I did. I got mine for $30 cheaper on StubHub.
Yeah, you had pretty good seats though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a really good seat, because my original plan, I was going up alone, and I was just gonna get whatever seat and kind of just move around. Obviously, I couldn't do that, but thankfully my seat was great, so I didn't need to move around.
You were in the trial, weren't you?
Pretty much at the exit of pit road.
Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, I could see everything, so it was great. And yeah, beautiful day weather-wise. The race itself was great. As mentioned.
Snacks?
No. I've talked about this. Michigan does not really have as good of food as a lot of tracks. I mean, they have kind of a few of their own, track food stands, but mainly they have food trucks, and food truck shit's always way overpriced. And
yeah,
I just brought my food in like a real old man.
Yep.
It's the way to go. It's the way to
did
do
that. But yeah, on to the race itself. As mentioned, I knew some cars were going to the back, but I did not realize Denny was one of them. So I was confused for a couple minutes until I figured that out. The race itself, I mean, there were 11 cautions, which I guess was a record for Michigan, at least in the modern era.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of flat tires and things like that. Obviously, there was the big pileup happened right in front of me.
You got a pretty good look at that, didn't you?
Well, I did, but also, we mentioned last week, Mansfield having this massive fucking LCD screen that they don't really need. Meanwhile, at Michigan, there was one a tiny LCD screen that was basically in turn 2, so you couldn't even fucking see it.
It's like a plasma TV.
Yeah, it was weird.
Track?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. But thankfully, the Wi-Fi there worked very well, so I just popped on Prime and watched the replay on my phone while they were doing caution laps, so that worked out just fine. But yeah, it was really was no shock that Toyota's, I wouldn't say dominated the race, but I mean, Reddick won the first stage.
First stage win of the year.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. The only one that matters is the third one. So
Yeah, I know. It's so surprising.
That wreck was the big wreck was in stage 2, right? Well, the first of the big wrecks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the big wreck was the pileup. I mean, obviously the Bell Larson one was big, but in a different way.
The major incident of the day.
I'm trying to but yeah, Toyota was doing very well, but also, I mean, Larson was up there for a bit. Hocevar Suarez. There were a few Chevys that were up front. Fords were really nowhere to be found in the top 5 the majority of the day.
Yeah, Larson is really doing his best Chase Elliott from last year impersonation, just hanging out in 5th place and refusing to budge from it, no matter what, unless he gets wrecked or something, which is disappointing for me. But and that 9 car is always right there in front of him. So now I know how True Love felt for, well, not last year. I guess Larson had a shitty year too, and they won the championship. But yes, consistency is annoying as fuck.
Yesterday, Elliott led the most laps until he didn't. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put a period on that one, but I guess we're not quite there yet.
Did he win stage 2?
He did.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
He did. Okay, that makes sense. Stage 3 starts, and a couple cautions. Keselowski and Zane Smith, both with flats and broken toe links and whatnot, and then about 40 to go is when the Bell Larson thing happened. And again, that happened in turn 4, so I couldn't really see it. I mean, I could see it, but not like I couldn't tell how bad it was until I saw the replay. They did a red flag for that.
Broke the damn wall. I mean,
yeah, broke the wall. It's so far the hardest hit in the next gen car that was recorded.
I didn't even know what I was looking at when that happened, because it happened so quickly.
It's very quick.
Like,
yeah,
so violently, so fast.
And these cars, they will do that. They'll fishtail and guys will lose the rear. We see that pretty often. But this was as quick as an Indy car or something like that. And I've never seen one of these cars move that quick. It looked like it was sped up. Like, it was crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were full throttle in the turn, and it was just Chase got loose and got into Bell, and Bell ricocheted into the wall.
Chase said he got loose, and he was just planning on he was like, I'm just going to let it spin because that's what's happening. And he said it just did something weird where it connected and hooked a hard right.
Yeah.
Just really caught him off guard.
There was a bump in turn 4. I think that probably had something to do with it, but
I think he said he might have caught a seam or something, which I guess
that'll do it.
Was a factor throughout the weekend. Chase apologized afterwards, and they both got out of the car under their own power. But yeah, it was just a racing deal. I saw a bunch of people online saying, imagine if that had happened in, pre soft walls and pre Hans device, and I can tell you exactly what happened. Go talk to fucking Ernie Irvin. He died.
Yeah, he died. He died right there at Michigan, and Brien was there.
Yeah.
It was brutal for that 20-minute red flag, having to listen to Dale Jr. dissect that race in slow motion, because it, just looks so much like his dad's wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, what a shock that was, man. I audibly gasped when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The red flag happens, and they restart with 30-something to go. And off the restart, going into turn 1, Hamlin got underneath both Hocevar and Daniel Suarez, and that was it. He was just off, and he ended up with an 11.11 second lead, which is, I guess, the biggest in the next gen cars on an oval.
Also a surprising stat.
Yeah. But yeah, afterwards did a very cool tribute. So Denny had planned this as soon as the last race he won, the week prior. He's like, well, I could win this weekend. We need to do something special. So he got with Gibbs and RCR and created this 18 flag that used the 1 from the JGR 18 and Kyle's 8 from RCR in his signature. Sadly, there will be no merch available to the public with that stuff on it, but it was cool to see Denny do that, and he tied
No
Kyle.
legitimate merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a team hat or two will sneak out somehow because they always seem to, but there will not be any released stuff coming out. But cool tribute. Denny is now tied with Kyle for 63 wins. And, after the race, he was talking about that. He's like, I'm sure Kyle would have gotten me back at some point, and this, that, and the other thing. But, obviously everybody's still weeks later, still reeling from that. So, very cool tribute, and yeah, just a good race. I mean, I don't really have any crazy weird stuff to talk about. It was just a in for the day race experience and good time. So that was pretty much it. Drove home with no issues, and that was it.
I did appreciate that he drove down the entire front stretch to make sure he went by the full grandstand instead of just stopping at the start-finish line with the fucking camera crew waiting on him. Mm-hmm. And then still did his burnout.
Yeah, agreed. So we want to talk about the big wreck? We're just going to gloss over that?
Well, I mean, I don't know what,
I just want to talk about Austin Dillon, that's all, in his interview.
Okay, yeah.
I just that pissed me off so much. And look, we all know my opinion on Carson Hocevar has changed, and I've become a fan, and I enjoy it. There's really no defending how that went down. It was pretty, at best, poorly timed, and at worst, at best, not thought out. You know, he can't work the pedals in Larson's car, but he does have his own pedals he could probably make adjustments with to not fucking hook Sean underneath a check. But just the richness, that milk chocolate richness of Austin Dillon, given the interview he gave, talking about respect and all this stuff, when that man has won 6 times in the Cup Series. Most haven't won that many, so good for him. But when I think it's 1/3 to half of those races he junked people to win, I'm not hearing this, pal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go sit down.
And no, let's also not gloss over Pop's comments about Carson's eyes being
incredible comment.
Do you guys have the actual quote?
He said it's what happens when their eyes are too close together. I don't even really understand that.
First off, Carson's eyes.
He's got
fine.
normal eyes.
He's got normal eyes. Second off, this motherfucker had Kaz Gralla in one of his cars.
Yeah.
That guy's eyes are on top of each other.
Yeah,
basically.
that's also true. Local hero Kaz Gralla. But yeah, I thought that was rich. Especially after his response to the accident was to just fucking throttle down and drive through Tyler Reddick. I thought that was cool. But
yeah,
hey, that's racing. That's how it goes. And people are going to run their mouths, and we wouldn't have a show if they didn't. So you wouldn't have lost the past 2 minutes of your life to me bitching about Austin Dillon if it wasn't for him talking. So thank you, and also stop it, Austin. Yeah, Michigan. I'd love to get up there one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a little far away for me, but definitely an awesome racetrack, and it's one of the older ones on the circuit. So I would love to check it out.
It's really become one of my favorites of the year. And again, if you would have told me 30 years ago my 2 regular tracks were going to be Michigan and Darlington, I wouldn't believe it. And now, even the racing has gotten so much better the last few years. I mean, yeah, obviously these cars are still not perfect, but they can pass. Like, obviously a lot of this stuff was happening off restarts, but there were passes throughout the race. And, it's just a good time. So, especially way better than 10 years ago when I first started going. So,
And it fills a unique void in the schedule as well now that Auto Club is gone.
Yeah.
There's no 2-mile big oval like that, and it's one of the only times of the year, if not the only time, where you get to see a number 2 at the front of the speed chart, and they were hitting 200 all day, which was nice. It's nice to see.
So good
also,
times.
For all you Martin Truex Jr. fans out there, he did crawl out of the swamp for a little bit to do the post-race coverage, and the pre-race too. I guess I missed all that, but I did see him sitting at the desk after the race was over.
He was there. He drank a beer. Not much to say. I mean, he did fine. He, talked more than you would expect.
Yeah.
I did get another video from Carl Edwards, who was sitting in a private jet on a runway in Michigan visiting friends. I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, what? Okay. I had the post-race show on in the car, and I actually was surprised by how much Martin was talking, so I guess that's good. But now it's time to talk about the Fantasy League. So, True Love, hit us with it.
Fantasy League. That's for me.
That's right. I know it's for you.
Big winner this week. On top.
Yeah, if Chase couldn't do it,
From Dawsonville.
at least somebody else from Georgia could get it done.
Did you, because it seemed like most of us, like almost everybody had at least one of their, after the garage was closed, it had at least one of their drivers fall out. I don't know if you were one of the few that didn't, but.
I think Chase was probably my lowest finishing.
Well, he didn't finish, did he?
Well, he got stage points, and that saved him.
Well, yeah.
He did. He
but-
got a ton of stage points. So.
And the
I
wreck
think
that
he
Carson
was-
Hocevar caused was so big that it saved a lot of people for the picks at the bottom.
Well, it did for me. I mean, I took Tyler out immediately, but then I had Zane. I picked Zane because I knew he was going to run well, and he was until he got his flat. And then trying to think who else I had. Oh, Chase. I had Chase too. That kind of fucked me up. So.
Yeah.
But I still got a decent
Chase-
finish.
Chase was my lowest finishing, and then I got 3 of the bonus picks right. So I don't know, but good for me. I won finally.
I'm proud of you, True Love.
Sharing the podium with me in second place is Golden Corral Mafia, who we all know is Garfield's Feet's husband. And then completing the podium is Garfield's Feet herself. So
Wow.
just me and my buds on top. Let's see, Brien 6th and Rob was 8th.
Yeah. A salvage
We all
day.
finished in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much different in the overall standings. Little Michael's still leading. Flavortown McLeod up 1 to 2nd. Chris Davis down 1 to 3rd. Brian, I think you're up 1 to 4th.
Yes, I was up 1. Yeah, the top.
Rob up 2 to 6th.
Hey, you better ring the siren for me. I saw that. I knew I was gonna kind of maintain, but I did not expect to jump that far up into the standings. I'm coming for you, motherfuckers.
Well, the top 5.
I'm up,
Go ahead.
I was
up
going to say
where?
I'm up 2 to 10th. So
Yeah,
and then
the
that's-
top 5 really tightened up because now I'm only like 30 points behind first,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
there's-
is a much bigger gap last week.
and there's a
Yeah.
pretty large gap between Brian and I now. And
Yes.
where the midfield is just, that's very tight. So I still time for me to blow this.
Still, what is it? Would you say 12 races? till
12
the-
races till the playoffs and the
Playoffs.
reset.
Yeah, and I only have 2 Denny races left. I've been spamming him a lot this season because he's been doing so well. So I'm gonna have to.
Get ready to drop down the standings.
Yeah. I will say this might actually have been my worst week for picks on record. My favorite of the bunch was, here, let me pull my roster up here. I chose Tyler Reddick to finish ahead of Denny Hamlin. This one looks comical because Denny won and Tyler was pretty much dead fucking last in fantasy points, so that was cool.
It's first DNF of the year, too.
Yeah. Also picked Ty Gibbs over Chris Buescher, which that didn't work out. Yeah, just not good. But I was smart enough to bench Tyler Reddick, and yeah, we ended up working out okay. So thanks, Denny, for pulling me through here in 6th place. I'm celebrating this more than True Love's celebrating her win. Why don't we hear that siren one more time for True Love? Can we get that?
I gotta find it. There it is.
There it is, yeah.
Maybe they'll put my name on the sign.
Yeah.
Pool room.
Are you going to visit the pool room for this one?
No.
No.
I'll be visiting the pool room for Chase crashing out.
Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of which, I'm going to jump ahead to the DAR for the week here because this does come from that wreck with Chase Elliott and Christopher Bell. Actually, quite a bit to talk about with that one. But our DAR for the week, I'm surprised this guy has never been selected before. He's a bit of a legend amongst the shitposting circle. I guess that's fair to say, Brian. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh yeah, I've been blocked from his page, and many other people in the shitposting group have.
Yeah.
So
The NASCAR Past and Present group, run by a guy named Darren Jones, who may or may not have worked on a bunch of cup cars over the years. I think people like to rag on him and say he's faking it. I think he actually might have done it, but at this point, who knows what's real on the internet?
I think he's padded up his resume a bit. I
Yeah.
do think he worked, but yeah, not to the level that he seems like he has.
And this DAR for the week really just, it brings together a lot of different threads on this show. a guy in the industry who acts bigger than he needs to, AI, just really dumb opinions, and also just posting through it when you've been called out. The post this week, again, was from his own group, and what he did was I'll just read you the caption. This gives you an idea of how much the wall gave. Of course, this is in reference to the wreck here with Christopher Bell. And yes, I used AI to clear up the image. I don't care about the decals or the colors. And the photo itself is of a car with the number 99 on it just slamming into the fence, which, yes, that did happen. Chase Elliott is driving the number 29 and number 11 simultaneously, and there is oncoming traffic on the other side of the wall.
It's a whole second Michigan on the outside wall.
And when we're trying to verify the severity of an incident, when this many liberties have been taken by a data center somewhere, I don't think you can trust the validity of what you're receiving here. Yeah. And of course, the comments.
Just watch the replay.
Yeah, you don't need to do this to see. And the comments, of course, are like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Essentially, was the general consensus. My personal favorite was from a guy named Bear Jin. He says, "LOL, that is not a cleared up image. Didn't know there was a whole other track just outside the outside wall at Michigan. Damn, this group would have zero content without AI." And then Darren responds with, "You are on my page. I'm the admin. It's my content, and you don't contribute."
That's his reply anytime anybody ever calls him out. Like, this is my page.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off.
And then he also double posts, just like John Hunter Nemechek did a bunch this weekend on Instagram. And he says, "How exactly would I get this shot with a camera, dummy?" Which they did.
What?
So this week, I'm banning Darren from his own group, just so he knows what it feels like to get banned. I'm actually still in that fucker. I don't contribute, so I can continue to look at it and get content here. But
I gotta go look.
Yeah, I'm sure if this comes out, that this is on the show, then this major motorsports media outlet here, then I will also get banned. But yeah, Darren, that guy's a trip. If you're listening to this, you're probably not allowed to look at his content anyway, so let me do it for you.
Why are there so many pages named this? Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, Darren seems like, your average, NASCAR boomer type, but then at the same time, he's very defensive of Bubba Wallace, which I appreciate.
He's a confusing guy.
Yeah, exactly. Very confusing guy.
One minute ago, he posted about a Natalie Decker meet and greet. So.
Well, he'll be there. Yeah. Also, before we get into the notes here, Christopher Bell will be back in the car in Michigan. I know there have been some back and forth about whether or not he'd be there.
Well, no,
he does have a broken hand. Well, his dad said he wasn't going to be racing. I know that.
Yeah. His dad was like a month out, and that was it. Just all this speculation. Then he announced this afternoon he'll be in the car. So
yeah. I was a little excited to see Brent Cruz or Ryan Truex get a shot in that car, but oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think secretly his dad wanted him to take a month off for his injury, so he thought if he got it out there first, that they would just have to go along with it.
That's a dad move right there.
That's a theory.
Yep.
It's a good one.
All right, so on to the notes. Unfortunately, we have another passing in the NASCAR world to talk about. Not quite as tragic, we'll say that, though. Gentleman Ned Jarrett passed away at 93 years old. If you are of our age bracket, you knew Ned as one of the voices of NASCAR throughout the 80s and 90s.
Oh, yeah.
He started his broadcasting career in the late 70s with MRN, but previous to that, he was a champion in NASCAR, two-time champion. He won pretty much everything but the Daytona 500, and his career ended probably earlier than it should have. I think there were a couple bad wrecks, and he decided to get out of the car, for his family. But he probably would have won quite a bit more had he stayed in the car a few more years. Just honestly one of the legends and just one of the great people of the sport. One of the people that, really helped, he was the voice of the sport at its biggest time period. And helped along by his call of the 93 500 where he called his son to the victory.
First win.
That was the first 500 I remember watching from start to finish, and that call will always be my all-time favorite call. Better than the Dale call, better than any of the other ones. I think that's always going to be my favorite. So
The Dale call, like the Mountain Dew.
no, not the Mountain Dew Dale calls.
Yes. And I'm sorry, Dale Jarrett's first win was not the Daytona 500. He won at Michigan, actually.
Yes, he did win. He beat Davey Allison.
But yeah,
I remember watching that live as a kid, the 93.
Same. And
just because of that call.
All of us are definitely too old or too young, rather, to have seen him race. But I know I can speak for all three of us. He was an integral part of our childhood and getting us into this. Like, you cannot hear that man's voice without being transported back to a purer time. I loved when they brought him and Ken Squire into the booth at Darlington on one of the first throwback years.
Ned was doing it up until, I think, last year was maybe the last time he did it.
Yeah, and even still, obviously a little slower as you get when you're fucking in your 90s, but still sharp enough, and just that velvety, smooth, kind voice. Obviously we haven't heard it live more than once a year for a long time, but definitely a big part of sort of the not peripheral, just it sucks, man. I don't know. I was actually really sad about that. It's one of those deaths you expect, and honestly, like, when you hear about it, you're like, man, you kind of thought he might have already been gone because he's been old for so long. But yeah, just an integral part of your childhood, and for a lot of race fans, he was sort of the introduction to everything. So definitely sad to see him go.
Yeah. Still better in the booth at 92, 93 than Jamie Little, Michael Waltrip. Lots of folks.
Yeah, I would have paid a lot of money to have him just call a truck race by himself.
I appreciated Hamlin, paying tribute to him as well, saying he was the, original badass of the number 11. So
he was. A lot of really badass guys in the 11 car over the years.
Yeah. And also, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, someone pointed out with his passing that now every Cup champion pre-1980 is no longer with us except for Richard Petty. So.
And Richard's still out there.
Yeah.
Sad news, man. And also, one last thing about Ned. I've never met the guy, but I have. There's a lot of people I know that have had interactions with him, and he's. A lot of people knew him, obviously. He's a fucking legend, and haven't heard any stories about him that are really negative.
Yeah.
Hence the nickname, I suppose. This seemed like a really genuinely decent and good guy.
Yeah. I only met Dale, and he was real nice, so, you could tell he was raised right, so.
Right.
Somebody cheats on his wife, but.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Mikey was cheating on
allegedly.
Buffy. Mikey was cheating on Buffy. We all know that. So
yeah, just Google it, folks. Just Google that shit.
But yeah, so Michigan wasn't the only racing on Sunday. Gateway was Sunday night, IndyCar. I did watch some of this because it was fucking raining on and off, and I fell asleep before it ended because I was pretty tired, but I did watch some of it.
Yeah, it was a good race. My favorite part about this entire thing was Penske bringing back the Marlboro livery from our childhoods.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I really enjoyed listening to Will Buxton and the boys try to avoid saying what it actually was. It's like, oh, it's an Elio Castroneves throwback. It's like, that is the fucking cigarette car, and you know it. God damn it. McLaughlin had an all right night. Definitely cool to see that. It's not pink. It's not really red either. I don't even know what color that's supposed to be. It's kind of, yeah. It's a crazy color, and it was awesome to see it out there again. Joseph Newgarden picking up the win. Didn't like that, but that motherfucker is so good at Gateway. He's I think it's his fifth win there, something like that. Also, shout out to Christian Rasmussen pulling some crazy moves on the outside. It sounds like Newgarden was kind of toying with him a little bit, or didn't realize that he needed to be racing him harder. And once he did kind of figure it out, he was able to make the move and pull out. pretty far, and pick up the win. But yeah, Christian Rasmussen always a thriller at the flat tracks. You'll see more of that at Milwaukee later in the year. But yeah, it was a good race, except for the fact that it started past my bedtime on a fucking Sunday night.
Let's see what else. So there was a fire at Nashville Speedway, apparently. I mean, I saw whoever sells old NASCAR shit there, I saw their booth got all melted, but I don't really know the story behind what happened.
Yeah, it was at the fairgrounds. Yeah, I guess they said they think it was electrical, but luckily it was just contained within that cement block souvenir booth inside the the fuck's it called?
Grandstands?
Yeah, but underneath it, wow,
little driveway thing?
I'm having a stroke. The driveway thing. The fucking concourse.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said it was a 90% loss for his booth. But I mean, most of the shit that I saw burn just looked like shitty flea market die-cast, and then maybe a couple new ones. But it did look like there was a cool old Darrell Waltrip roof that might have
That's a
been
shame.
lost. But
Well, if he needs to restock on T-shirts, he can go over to Speedway Screens.
I'm pretty sure I bought T-shirts from that guy when we were at the SRX race, so
Yeah.
wasn't cutting deals. I still bought a few anyways.
Well, maybe. So they don't know what caused the fire?
But they think it was electrical.
Could be electrical.
in the booth. But I'm gonna say it was the soccer guy
Yeah.
next door.
Well, it could have been electrical. Maybe someone was stealing power from the fairgrounds, too.
This is a cool story. I don't have all the full details in front of me, but yeah, there are two
I'll fill you
guys
in.
somehow siphoned off $600,000 in power from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah, just some-
worked for the energy company. They worked for Duke Energy.
Okay.
And I guess there was money laundering involved with the RV
Yeah.
park across the street.
Makes sense.
Whoops.
Yeah, just cool. Like that's a cool story. I can't be mad about that.
Yeah.
So 600. Yeah. Did you say the amount? 600.
600 grand.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
a lot of power.
And one of the guys was also slapped with the charge of having a weapon of mass destruction. I guess he was in possession of a fully automatic gun.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Well, good for those guys. I hope it was fun while it lasted.
Sorry to VRL RV Park. You're going to start paying for your own shit now.
Yeah,
So.
seriously.
And our final note, so last week on the Athletics 12 questions, Riley Herbst answered, what's the pettiest thing that annoys you during a race weekend? And his reply was adult autograph collectors. Now, he specified, I mean, obviously, I'm sure that pissed off some people but who didn't read the entire quote, but he specified specifically the guys that show up with suitcases of die-cast to get signed. Doesn't understand how they get in the track, which we've talked about ourselves on this show, like how that happens. None of us can really figure it out. I'm with him there. I mean,
I agree.
You know, I personally, like, you know, I don't collect autographs at all. Like, I'll get them from time to time, but I don't seek them out. And I don't, even when I meet people nowadays, like, if anything, I'll just ask for a picture. That's all I really want. I don't care about an autograph. But yeah, I'm totally with him. Like, yeah, fuck those guys. So, you know, obviously the diecast collectors out there were pissy about it, but
The comments were full of adult autograph collectors. Very upset.
Yeah, they're all on Facebook, and they all came out to show their support for their community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Team Riley on this one, too. Also, I got to say this. I never really heard Riley Herbst talk. Really, you don't hear from him very much. He was on DBC this week, and that kid seems pretty fucking chill.
Yeah, he's...
I like him. Yeah.
He grew on
He's
me
cool.
watching that.
Yeah.
So.
He seems all right.
I hope what actually happens is he just replaces John Hunter Nemechek at Legacy, because he can... I can totally... I don't need to ever see or hear from John Hunter Nemechek ever again. And if
No.
he was gone, if he was gone, I wouldn't miss him. Not for a second.
He was double tap commenting about Carson Hocevar over the weekend,
was.
which is
He very much was.
I don't care who you're talking about. That shit is it's lame to do.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
Well, with that, we have an extra long septic tank because sort of, the video of the week blends in with septic tank. So
Yeah, sadly it does. But
Yes.
yeah, let's just climb on in. The majority of what we're talking about tonight, I'm going to skip a lot of stuff that happened over the weekend, believe it or not. By looking at this list, you might not think I did, but I'm skipping a bunch because we want to talk about the Dream here. The 32nd Dirt Late Model Dream at Eldora Speedway happened over the weekend. One of my favorite events of the year. I've been fortunate enough to go to this before. I believe I talked about it on the show here. I think we were doing it at that point. I can't remember.
Yeah.
That was my first time ever at Eldora. Again, it's a big money event. Maybe not as big as the World because the Prestige is maybe like 1% lower than that one, but the paycheck certainly makes up for it. And I think there was 88 cars on the property this weekend. First and foremost, I want to get this out of the way because I was very upset last week about this. Of course, Jackie Rumley tweeting out about how the cheese ball recipe had changed and they were not as good anymore. So I had boots on the ground this weekend. Of course, Kyle Armstrong was prominently featured, whether he wanted to be or not, because the Simpson trailer is just parked right in the center of the pits inside the racetrack. And I asked him, are they different? And he reported back and he says, which is bittersweet news. He says they're still good, but they definitely taste different, which is that's gutting. But here's the real kicker: they've gone from $4 to $6 a carton now.
Boo.
Yeah. So, what a shame. Thoughts and prayers with the cheese ball community at Eldora. I will say this, and maybe I've said this on the show before. Eldora has a reputation for having really cheap concessions, and they kind of do. But when you really do the math, you spend the same amount of money as you would anywhere else. It's just so you can buy things individually.
Did they raise all their other concession prices too?
That I
Just
didn't
the
get
cheese
confirmation
balls?
on. I really could give two fucks about the rest of the stuff there. I'm a cheese ball guy. My heart will thank me. Those things definitely shaved off the better part of my 70s with how many I would eat in a given sitting. And I'll probably still wolf them down at the World 100, but
Yeah.
what a
Well, no
shame.
one wants to live that long anyway.
That's true. Yeah. Well, the Dream did get kicked off a little early, and maybe we were actually watching Flow Racing Night in America on the show last week. I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday we recorded, but Bobby Pierce missed the show, which was a big surprise. He's always a favorite at Eldora, and just didn't do so well. And I don't think anyone really had any doubts that he would suffer throughout the weekend, which ultimately he definitely did not. But missed the A-Main on Wednesday night, which was kind of crazy. Also missing the A-Main. Sorry, all you NASCAR fans out there. Carson Hocevar was dog shit. Absolutely. Very slow. I don't think you can blame that all on Carson. That Spire late model just does not really seem to have much speed anywhere it goes. So, and they're not really a full-time team. They don't really run all that much. So I think that probably has something to do with it. But I was definitely hoping to see him get some points and maybe work his way into a little bit of a better position. And he was able to pass a couple cars, but not enough to make it worth his while to jump on a helicopter and come back for the heats on Saturday night, which was a shame. Nick Hoffman ended up picking up the win on Wednesday night. And just to be clear, Hocevar, nobody was running for points. This was a separate standalone event. But Nick Hoffman continuing the party from Mansfield and picked up $20,000 for his win on Wednesday night, which I was excited to see that. Thursday night, of course, is the official kickoff of the Dream Prelim Night 1. Of course, the format, they split the field in two. First half runs Thursday night, second half runs on Friday night. They accumulate passing points, and that sets the lineups for the heats on Saturday afternoon. And also there's a Wheel of Misfortune. It's like a redraw kind of deal where they invert the field based off of this giant wheel. I forget exactly where it landed, but that definitely caused some interesting seating for the heat races. Bobby Pierce made up for any sort of wrongs he committed on Wednesday night, coming in from 7th to take the win over Devin Moran on lap 31. Or he passed Devin Moran on lap 31 and picked up the win, which, I didn't like that, but that's okay. A lot of people like Bobby Pierce, so good for those people. Friday night, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot of Friday night. I had to watch the feature once I got home from the show, which, by the way, anyone who came out to the Charlie Marie release show, thank you very much. That was a really special night. Special thanks to Dan Miller for opening the show, and anyone who came out. That was a good time. And if I'm going to have to miss anything at Eldora, whether it's on TV or in person, that would be the reason why, is to do something like that. So thank you for that. While I was busy drinking 2 to 3 free beers and playing a set, Mason Ziegler was trying to launch himself into space. That was fucking crazy. I don't know if you guys saw the photos of the replay.
I did watch most of Thursday through Saturday, and I did see that flip, and that was pretty wild.
Yeah, Nick Hoffman, bad slider from Nick Hoffman. Not something you usually see out of him, but he just either timed it wrong or misjudged his speed, something like that. Completely broadside Ziegler. Gets Ziegler turned sideways, and he kind of shoots down to the inside of the racetrack and just boat ramps it right off the front of Brandon Shepard's car. And the photos from this are absolutely insane.
Is that the wreck that Armstrong caught?
Yes, yeah. Friend of the program, Kyle Armstrong, was standing right in front of that, and he had an amazing video, which we'll probably end up reposting that one because it's intense. Fortunately, Mason was okay. Unfortunately, his dream is dead for 2026, and of course it is. That fucking wreck was crazy. Shout out to Dale McDowell, still out there ripping the low line and making some big moves there and being fast at Eldora. Still out there in a Team Zero car, so that was cool to see. Jonathan Davenport, he was leading for a little while. He's definitely the favorite. I'd even picked him last week when we were talking about the Dream. Didn't really show up with as much speed as expected. Was still up front and did a pretty decent job, but he did kind of lose it to Brandon Overton for a little bit. In fact, Davenport got in the fence and handed the lead over to Brandon Overton. So it kind of seemed like that was it. But a late caution, courtesy of Brendan Smith, gave Jonathan Davenport the opportunity to get around Brandon Overton and pick up the win on prelim night 2. Yeah, definitely. Again, he won the race. He was definitely in the mix, but not the Jonathan Davenport you're used to seeing at the Dream. I think he's won the last 4 or 5 in a row. So anytime he's not absolutely dick stomping people, it kind of raises an eyebrow. This all poured into Saturday, of course, the 32nd annual Dirt Late Model Dream. It's amazing it even happened because it rained a fuck ton, and it also hailed a fuck ton. I don't know if you guys saw a video from this, but it looked absolutely insane out there.
Yeah, I didn't know that it hailed. I just saw the swimming pool.
It rained all morning. It flooded the infield, and then as they were starting to get it kind of dried out and ready to go, they in fact moved up the start time for hot laps to 5 o'clock so they could get ahead of the rain that was probably going to come in. And after they made that decision, it just opened up a hailstorm like something out of Twister or Wizard of Oz, something like that. And of course, track flooded again, so those plans got pushed back. I think it started when it was supposed to be honest with you. It wasn't that much of a delay, maybe 45 minutes at most. But
was
they did.
The Simpson trailer okay?
Simpson trailer was okay. I'm pretty sure it made it out of there alive. Hopefully their insurance policy covers hail damage and dents. But beyond that, I think everything was all right. And I didn't hear about any broken glass because I would have gotten those photos, that's for sure. Heat races, let's see, Chris Ferguson, Hudson O'Neill, Garrett Alberson, Sam Seawright surprises people with the speed he had. Brandon Shepard and Trey Mills picking up heat race wins, locking themselves into the front 6 positions of the show. Of course, I think it's safe to say that Trey Mills is becoming a favorite of our little family here at Applebee's.
Yeah, I like him.
He's a man-sized child.
He looks like a child but sounds like an adult. It's weird.
Yeah, we've watched him grow up on TV over the past 400 days, it seems like. Ricky Thornton Jr. having a bit of a rough go in his heat. He had to go to the last chance qualifier, as did Ryan Gusson and Brian Shirley as well. RTJ, Ryan Gustin, Jake O'Neill, they ended up transferring in to the feature from the LCQ, as did Brian Shirley, Troutman, and Dan Ebert from the second LCQ. Trey Mills ended up on the pole as after winning Heat 6. So that was cool to see our favorite boy man, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I'll have him listed as the child man in the notes a little bit later. That's pretty good. They call him the Future. That's his nickname. But I think the child man is a little bit more appropriate, so we're going to use that from now on. He was on the pole for the feature. Brandon Shepard was on the outside. Jonathan Davenport, Bobby Pierce, Dale McDowell, Ashton Winger, Nick Hoffman, all people that you typically have your eyes on, and Ricky Thornton Jr., all starting well in the back. I think maybe row 7 was the highest that those guys were at. So it was going to be a tall order. The racetrack, after all the rain, was super fast. They were running qualifying laps, essentially, for the heats, and that kind of leads to freight train, one lane kind of racing where everybody moves up together because everyone's going the same speed. They did rework the track before the feature. Unfortunately, they got that fixed up pretty nicely because we saw a pretty decent race. Let's see here. Trey Mills led the first 24 laps. Brandon Shepard eventually getting around him. Shepard was my race day pick for the win. I proudly got on Instagram and announced that, thinking I was going to be smart. It's like, oh, no one's going to get to this fucking guy.
Same thing in the group chat. You were like, Brandon Shepard's got it. And meanwhile, Bobby Pierce had gone from like 16th to 3rd. I'm like, dude, there's half the race left.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, it was going to be a good show between the two of them. Pierce did end up getting around Brandon Shepard eventually. Sheppy's really good on the slick, and that track was starting to slick off pretty severely by the time that Bobby Pierce got him. Pierce, of course, is a monster on the top of the racetrack. Brandon can kind of run anywhere, so it looked like even though Pierce got around him, if there was another caution, we might see something. Unfortunately, Brandon Shepard got sideways into the fence, and Hudson O'Neill tried to do his best Mason Ziegler impersonation, and they wrecked super hard. Glad to see both of those guys walk away from that. Fortunately, nobody got airborne in that one. Both of those cars are completely destroyed. And that pretty much handed it to Bobby Pierce. No one really had anything for him. Max Blair ended up getting second in the Dream, and Nick Hoffman, after kind of languishing towards the back for most of the night, ended up in 3rd. So that was cool to see the Thrill from Mooresville pick up a podium, solidifying a pretty nice little weekend in Ohio. I forget how much you win for getting 3rd in the Dream, but it's a few grand. I think he probably got 10 grand for that, something like that. So he won anywhere between 130, 150,000 this weekend. So that's pretty good. That's something to be proud of, as Montgomery Gentry would say.
I saw leading up to this race, they announced a lap 51 bonus of $2,012 in honor of Kyle Busch.
Yes.
Do we know who won that?
I think Shepard, wasn't it?
I think it was Brandon Shepard, yeah. It would have been Brandon Shepard. So that's cool. Yeah, Hellraiser Jacks, they dropped some money on a few different Kyle Busch tributes throughout the weekend. I forgot who won the other ones, but that was very nice of them. They make very, very nice jacks, the Hellraiser dudes do. So if you need a jack, holler at those boys. They're out in Carolina, I believe. But yeah, Bobby Pierce picking up the win. First time he's ever won the Dream. I didn't realize that. Seems like something he would have done before, and I think I knew that, but just hearing people say that was kind of insane. Also, big shout out once again to Dale McDowell. This is the 19th Dream that he's qualified for. There are different numbers flying around, whether it was 20, 21, 19. I think Flo, when they were saying 20, they were counting the year that, I think what was it called? The Intercontinental or some shit like that? No, that was the World. The COVID year where they were unable to run. They did have some sort of a version of the Dream, but it doesn't count towards the official count. But Dale made that one too. Guy's a legend, one of the best to do it, and always a perennial favorite, even in his old age of 50 or 55 or how the fuck old he is. I have no idea. Dude's ageless when he's in a race car, I can tell you that. I'm a big Dale McDowell fan, and it was cool to see him make the show yet again. Max Blair celebrated by drinking some sort of cloudy liquid out of a, looks like a Dr. Pepper bottle during his interview. Also, I always forget what Max Blair looks like. You don't see his face very often, and I'm always shocked that that's what he looks like when you see him. Nothing weird about him, necessarily, but...
His hairline.
Yeah, it looked like he was drinking Smirnoff Ice or something in the media center after the race out of a Dr. Pepper bottle. It was probably liquid IV or some shit like that, but I don't know. Who cares? And also, shout out to me, another extension of my fantasy prowess this weekend. Of course, I'm coming up the ranks, coming through the standings in the NASCAR fantasy, but also I came in 10th nationwide in the Dirt Draft Pro League. Got a few hundred points for that, I think, which is good. So now I can cash that in and get some free T-shirts or something. But, yeah, it was a good weekend. I cannot fucking believe they got that show in with the forecast they had. It pretty much went off without a hitch. And you wouldn't even know there was a delay if you weren't really paying attention because there wasn't much of one. So shout out to Eldora and their whole team for getting that in. Oh, I also forgot to mention this. Bobby Pierce in Victory Lane. He made a plea for his wife to retire as an Eldora girl. Of course, she's him and Devin Moran's sister or wife or whatever. They're the Eldora girls, to which Tony Stewart said, no, we're not doing that. So but, yeah. Shut that right the fuck down. But, yeah, the Dream's a great event. I say it every time Eldora comes up on this show. You got to go see it at least once to understand what this place means. That place has an aura like no other. I've never been to a sprint car event there, but I imagine it's just as special there. But a dirt late model race at Eldora, it's about as special as it gets to me anyway. And Brian's experienced it. There's something special about that place that I can't really describe, and you need to get out to Ohio and check that shit out. Even if the cheese balls are different now.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to blow through the rest of the septic tank here so we can talk about this dog shit movie for a little bit. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, they got affected by rain as well. Hartford got rained out. I thought Hartford was a little closer to Brooklyn where the Cup race is, but I guess it's not. It's like 3 hours away because I was going to suggest that.
Michigan's a big state.
Yes, it is.
You don't really realize that.
Yeah. You'd think that World of Outlaws running that close would indicate that, hey, it's not a companion event, but, come on over on Saturday night. No, not at all. Don't do that. It's fucking 4 hours away or something. But they did get some racing in at Plymouth. Sheldon Haudenschild picking up the win there. Carson Macedo picking up a win at Angel Park on Sunday night. That was a cool show. That little racetrack fucking rips. Also the birthplace of the Outlaws, I believe. Maybe. One of them. But yeah, that was a good show. High Limit, it was the Kyle Larson week. He won at Davenport, Red Cedar, and Godnick Law. So if you're a Kyle Larson fan, it was nice to see him actually win something for a change, because we don't get to see that in NASCAR so much anymore. Highlight of the entire weekend, though, was Ayrton Geniton getting really pissed off at Danny Sams.
Name?
Ayrton Geniton?
The whole name is just gooble gobble.
Yeah, they won't celebrate him at the pool room, but I'll celebrate him here in Applebee's. I like Ayrton. He's a good kid. Pretty decent little 410 driver, too. Danny Sams kind of motherfucked him a little bit on the racetrack, and so Ayrton decided to give it back to him on the mic. I'd play it for you, but I can't really get my mic over to my computer, and I didn't prepare for this, so I'll just kind of paraphrase. Essentially saying that if you're going to wreck my shit, then I'll see you after the race, and we can fight like actual men do. Which... guess what? Didn't happen. But there is video of Danny Sam's crew pulling out of the pits and their truck driver waving at Ayrton and his crew packing up their wrecked race car at the end of the night. So will this drama continue? I don't know. Is Ayrton going to run another high limit race coming up pretty soon? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it was really funny. I'll screen grab that clip and we can post it. On the asphalt side of things, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour was up at Oxford Plains with a pretty short field, but that's okay. We got to see John McKennedy whoop their asses once the rain cleared. Again, even up here, it rained across the entire fucking country on Saturday, so what are you going to do? Yeah. But John McKennedy, again, disappointing me further in winning yet another race, even though he's a Massachusetts guy, so is what it is. Not much funny stuff this week other than Ayrton getting pissed off on the mic and challenging another small man to a fight. But we do have a lot of racing coming up that could give us something to talk about this week, especially tomorrow night, or actually, well, if you listen to it right now on release day, it's tonight. The Shake Crescent Dirt Cup at Muskegon County. This is a World of Outlaws versus Lucas Oil late model event. They got the top 12 from each series. Sans Brandon Overton. I forget who's filling. I think maybe it's Drake Troutman or Dan Ebert. I can't remember which one. But someone filling in for him. But the top 12, essentially, in the points from each series are going head-to-head at Muskegon County. They're doing a King of the Hill round, which is fucking awesome. Can't wait to watch that. They used to do that at the Chili Bowl, and that's one of the most fun ways you can qualify for a race, so I'm really excited to watch that. That'll be on Flow Racing on Wednesday night. The Hell Tour. Woo! I love talking about this one, the Hell Tour. It really is a Hell Tour. It's pretty much every night from now until the middle of July. They're kicking that off at Brownstown, Kankakee, Peoria, and Coles County coming up. There's a few more of them, but by the time we get there, it'll be like 11 o'clock. So we'll take this as it comes. World of Outlaw late models are going to be returning to West Virginia Motor Speedway for the first time in 1,000 years for Race Fest. That'll be a good one on Dirt Vision. Hunt the Fronts at Magnolia. World of Outlaw sprint cars are going back to Knoxville yet again. I feel like they've been there a lot this year, which I got no problem with. It's one of the greatest racetracks in the world. They're there for the Chevy Dealers Clash. High Limit is at Eagle, or they actually just wrapped that up. Rico Aber picked up the win there. Also going to Shelby County over the weekend. Indiana Midget Week is on Flow all week. Circle City was tonight. Hayden Reinbold picked up the win before the skies opened up. They'll also be at Paragon, Lincoln Park, Bloomington, Tri-State, and Kokomo coming up. Yeah, it's a lot of racing right there. Cars Tour is going to be at Dominion, and also the Money in the Bank at Berlin Speedway is happening tomorrow night. Big time, super late race. I believe Eric Jones and Carson Hocevar are on the entry list for that. And I would imagine that you'll probably see a Ty Majeski or something like that out there too. And also all the other hot shoes in the super late model world. By the way, you can watch that one and a lot of these USAC shows and the Cars Tour race at Dominion this weekend on Amazon Prime. You do not need a Flow subscription to watch this. That is included with your Prime subscription. So if you're looking for some short track racing, always keep your eye on Amazon Prime because they have random events throughout the year in their entirety streaming live on that service. So just because you don't have a Flow subscription doesn't mean you're left out of the septic tank if you have a Prime account. Just another reason to pick one up if you don't have it. And that's it for the actual short track septic tank, but I guess we can crack the door a little bit and let the stink of this movie out as we talk about it.
I had one thing I wanted to mention in the septic tank.
Oh, yes.
On Saturday night down at Sonoy Raceway, our buddy Dune Buggy won the limited feature in his Miller High Life cars.
Hell yeah. Good for him.
Congrats to him. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yep. That's it. Let's move on to this other piece of trash.
Yeah.
I am so glad to talk about this now so I can never, ever think about this movie for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, too.
I mean, I should have heeded all the warnings that we'd gotten prior to actually watching this, but even though he didn't remember saying it, Rob decided this would be a good weekend to watch it. So,
since this is technically my fault, even though I never said such a thing on the show or
absolutely did
privately, I will accept at least partial responsibility. I will say this: it's never a good sign when there's a movie about something niche. Obviously, I love dirt late model racing. I talk about it all the time on the show. I'm out here proselytizing every time I have a mic in front of me or anytime I have a chance to talk about somebody. I got a lot of friends into this ship, and when a community has no thoughts on a I won't call it high budget, but a movie that's been made about their particular niche, and no one sees
an A-lister,
starring an A-list actor,
A-lister, and also one of the greatest country singers of the 90s.
Yes,
also.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely one of the most famous, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But when nobody either knows about it or will acknowledge it, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
That's not a great way to kick this off, and that was my experience before I watched this movie. I asked questions, I asked around, and I really didn't get any answers beyond 2 or 3 words.
I know we both did research, couldn't find any stories as to why or how this got made, like just nothing. Just
nothing.
This movie just exists, and that's all you're gonna get out of it. So.
Yes. There's a reason for that.
Before we watched it, I thought Brien had said this was on Tubi, so I went to Tubi and looked it up. And of course, it wasn't on there, but it did recommend to me the movies Alabama Dirt, which looked exactly the same as this one.
Well, we will watch that
Racer.
next year.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Also,
on
this
Pluto.
movie was rated R, and I have no idea why.
He said fuck once. That's it. There's no nudity, no nothing else. Like, I don't know why it was rated R.
The only R rating is a word that I'm not supposed to say because it's 2026.
Yeah.
That's what this movie is.
So Trading Paint.
It was
I
on
have a lot of
Pluto,
notes.
by the way.
Yeah, Pluto
Yes, on
TV.
Pluto.
Yeah.
I'll have a lot of notes, and I'm gonna try to not. I don't know. There's not even much to talk about. I took all these notes, and it's just all trash. It's all just boring nonsense. So the movie starts out at the Talladega Dirt Track, and it's supposedly the last race of whatever the fuck season it is. We should also mention they go through 3 different seasons in this movie in like the course of 6 months. It seems like.
You
Doesn't
never
make
know
any
it.
fucking sense.
Yeah.
So they lay it out that, John Travolta plays a guy named Sam the Man Monroe, and his son also his son is driving for him. His son's name is Cam, and their big rival.
I instantly was pissed off when the main characters were named Sam and Cam.
Yeah.
Then you've got Bob Linsky. He's played by Michael Madsen. He's Sam's big rival, even though Sam's not driving anymore. He's their rival. And then you've also got Mike O'Malley as the announcer, who is just completely, maybe even literally phoning it in. I like Mike O'Malley, but he did a horrible job here with this role.
Once again, these are names that you recognize.
Yes, exactly.
You know who these people are, whether you like it or not.
So, we learned pretty quickly that the Monroes and Bob don't like each other. Bob wins the race, and he's the 3-time champion or whatever the fuck. Sam, let's see. So, Bob wins the race. Cam's pissed off. Sam leaves the track before even acknowledging or talking to his son, because he has another job as a tow truck driver. While he's doing this tow truck job, we get a flashback of the death of his wife, which happened with him behind the wheel of this car.
Yeah. So that's it for character development and the plot, right there.
Pretty much.
Also, I'd like to point out when Cam's engine blows, it is the weakest explosion I've ever seen in my life. Just a little bit of smoke coming out of the air cleaner.
I will say the costume department got it right, though, because they put Travolta in a late model hat with the little off-center logo, which is
Yes.
very spot on.
They probably bought it at the gift shop at Talladega Short Track.
Probably. So the next day, Sam is at his shop, and he's looking at his old car for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden, he's fishing with Shania Twain, who is apparently it's not even yet established if this might be their first date. It seems like she just moved to town or something. And they're fishing, and he's talking about using hot dogs as bait. Then they start talking about their past, and she talks about getting divorced and wanting to move to a small town. And then he gets into his conversation, his past with his wife. He just starts going on and on about how much his wife was this great person that, helped his career and all this other stuff. But then doesn't really talk about her death or anything.
Yeah. It's also our first introduction to this movie's version of a Southern accent, which is just gruff whispering.
Yeah. Somehow in this conversation, it is learned that Shania Twain doesn't know what donuts are, and by donuts, I don't mean the food. I mean doing donuts in a car.
Well, we don't know about that. Maybe she doesn't know what any of them are.
Who knows? Maybe.
She is Canadian, so.
Yeah.
Canadians have donuts. What the fuck are you talking about? You ever heard of Tim Hortons? Come on.
I don't know. I've never been to Canada.
They have donuts there.
They do have donuts.
So yeah, after she doesn't know what donuts are, he goes and shows her in his truck. We learn that Bob he owns a big car dealership. Cam has to do some work stuff or something for his dad's tow truck at the dealership. Bob starts complimenting him and wants to have a conversation about driving his car and working for him. Then we cut to a scene of just John Travolta and Shania Twain eating dinner, and she asks about his racing hobby, and then he just goes off like hobby and just starts talking about his career and also all their bullshit.
Hell
So again,
no, this ain't no hobby.
this
Hell no, hell yeah.
This ain't no hobby, hell
Yeah.
no.
Very early in their courtship. Next scene is Cam getting. Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, were y'all struggling with like sound quality
Yes.
watching yours as well?
Yes.
One
One thing I picked up on is anytime I paused it, because, you know, like I'm sure everybody else, I did not watch this in one sitting. I
Fuck
could
no.
not do it.
Absolutely not.
Every time I paused it and started again, it was low for like a few seconds, and then it kind of perked back up. Next scene,
Unlike the movie itself.
yeah. The next scene is Cam going home to his wife and baby, and he's very cold to her, and he starts talking about his conversation with Bob, and his wife gets all pissed off and like, wow, how could you do that to your dad? And somehow everybody hates this Bob guy. Meanwhile, like, so far, the only thing we know about Bob is that he's a winner, and
Where's
you know,
cowboy hat?
yeah, that's it.
That
Like,
picked up at a Flying J somewhere. It's like a straw. Like,
All crumply.
yeah.
yeah.
The next day at the towing shop, Cam tells his dad about the conversation. His dad is pissed off, and then he fires him. And, you know, his wife is also pissed off about this. We later see John Travolta going to the bar. His buddy Stumpy, who is a mechanic, shows up, and Sam doesn't want to talk. Some other guy shows up and just starts shit-talking about racing, so Travolta punches him out. Right after doing a shot, also.
Yeah.
The next day, he's hungover on his porch. Shania shows up and, like, starts talking about his hand, and then, like, talking about getting aspirin. There's aspirin in the garage. So she starts looking around the garage, looking at the race cars, and she sees this Boss 302 Mustang underneath a car cover, which looks pristine, but this is the car that they had the deadly accident in, so he fucking totals his car and kills his wife and then just restores the car for some reason.
Has it sitting in his garage as a trophy for 20 years or whatever.
You know, at the beginning of the
Very
movie,
bizarre.
when the car first makes its appearance, once the character establishment is wrapped up in the first 5 minutes, I wasn't sure if, because he wouldn't let her take the cover off the car during their date.
Yeah.
And my thought was, like, is it still damaged from
Bloody.
yeah, like,
That's what I thought too.
nope, fully restored.
So from here, you know, Cam leaves his dad's team and goes over to Bob's, and they're at the racetrack, and John Travolta decides to get back in the car because somebody's got to drive this car, and he hasn't driven in 6 years. And you see Cam in the new car of Bob's, and he's talking to Stumpy about his motor, and he looks sad and pissed off that his kid's in this other car. So cut to the race, and you know, all three of them win their heats, and
Of course.
yeah, of course, and. You know, again, Travolta hasn't driven a car in 6 years. Sorry for going back between Sam and Travolta, but I mean, whatever. It's John Travolta. Deal with it.
It's Travolta in all my notes.
Yeah. So the three of them battle in this main event, but Sam ends up winning, and even after winning, he just looks over at his kid, all pissed off that his kid's in this other car. Cam congratulates his dad, who then just asks him if he got his tools out of the garage. Shania decides to console Sam at the garage later and offers to talk to Cam for him, even though she really has no business doing that. Like, these people just barely know each other. So why she decides to get wrapped up in this is beyond me.
Also, one thing back to the race, I caught the announcer call this a true Southern soap opera, which I think sums up this movie.
It's not even there's not enough drama and bullshit for it to be a soap
opera. It's not like a lathery soap at all, but
it's the driest soap there is. It's fucking powdered soap.
You know how you feel when you get out of a hotel shower when the water's really hard?
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shania talks to Cam, and he's not apologetic about leaving his dad, and he talks about the death Mustang and talks about his mom. The next day, Sam is doing a radio interview, and he's asked about the deal with his son, and he kind of plays it off, and he's complimenting his son, and, you know, he says, I understand he wants to win, blah, blah, blah. They're playing this on the radio in Bob's garage, and Cam's listening, and Bob hears it, and, you know, Sam is talking all this shit on Bob, and Bob first laughs it off, and then he just takes the radio and smashes it. You know, just completely flips shit.
This was when the movie really made a turn for the worse, if you can believe that.
Oh,
That
now?
Yeah. I mean, there's so much.
I held out hope for a little while. Like, maybe this will turn around, but no.
The next race is the Ford 50, and prior to the race, Bob doesn't make the main event, and he tells Cam to wreck his dad because his dad is gaining too much on him in the points. They cut to the end of the race, and you see Sam and Cam battling for the win, and rather than wreck his dad, he just backs off and lets his dad win. After the race, Bob apologizes to Cam for putting him in that position, and but then minutes later, he goes over to another driver and tells him to do it. He's like, you know, both of them, doesn't matter, just wreck both of them. Wreck his own fucking car. Okay.
He's the guy that Travolta punched out at the dive bar earlier.
That makes total sense. That makes sense why this guy's shit talking. Anyways, now all of a sudden they're just at this dinner that is Red Farmer's retirement, and you hear Red Farmer talking on stage.
Gymnasium.
Yeah, Red Farmer is in this fucking movie, by the way, folks.
only actual race car driver in this whole movie, and not to mention the fact. Red Farmer's not even retired. Not even today. He's not even retired today. So, you know, they're at this dinner, and then it seems like Cam is drunk, and his dad confronts him in the bathroom. They start kind of arguing about family stuff, and just, you know, Cam is accusing Travolta of just kind of being an absentee dad and resentful of his dad's wins, and, you know, it says they've never had like a serious, important conversation about anything, and then Cam and his wife leave.
On the way out, you see the band playing in the background at the banquet, and the guy is singing, but he is nowhere near the microphone, so you hear singing, but...
Did you see that guy, like, in the center of the dance floor who was just... He was dancing, but he looked like... He's just kind of waving his arms around. It was like the most boomer shit. I'll screen grab that.
Okay, please do.
Because that made me laugh.
So, next scene is another race, and the guy that got punched out, his name is Jack Dunn. He's the other driver. And they show the race footage, and he is like half speed down the straightaway, just waiting to wreck one of these fucking guys. Which that would have gotten an immediate black flag or something, like, you know.
Well, the officiating in the races in this movie is... We haven't seen this in racing before, really. It lives in its own universe, that's for sure.
So he ends up... Jack Dunn spins Cam out, and then Travolta ends up hitting his own son. So then, you know, he runs out of the car, and he goes to help his son out of the car, and he's screaming at the fucking EMTs, like, get his visor open, he can't breathe. Like, I've never heard of that before. Like, what?
Yeah. Especially coming from the... Go ahead. I was going to say, coming from the guy who wears a helmet with a fucking blower attachment on the side, but there's no hose going into it.
Yeah, I am just dying laughing this whole scene because I can't focus on anything, but John Travolta's slick back hair has come forward and is just flopping around like greasy bangs all over his face while he's screaming about this visor.
Yeah. Also, a whole lot of children hanging on the fence, which is not allowed at dirt tracks.
No.
Keep your kids away from the fence, folks.
Then you know, he gets to the hospital, and we find out that Cam broke his legs, and the only other note I have from the scene is Cam's wife is an absolutely horrible actor. Now everybody gets home, and Shania consoles Sam. The next day, he goes to the racetrack, and he's just like sulking around and contemplating everything.
There's still
and
debris out there.
There's still a piece of his fucking son's car on the racetrack, and he's just kind of staring at it for a while.
That was the funniest part of the whole movie to me. What the fuck?
Travolta goes over and he talks to his son's wife, and he's like, I don't know if I should go see him at the hospital again, like all this stuff between us, blah, blah, blah. His wife talks him out of that, and he goes to the hospital, and he brings him magazines like it's 1998, and, he just starts apologizing for being a shitty dad, and then Cam opens up to him about the whole Bob wanting him to wreck him, and Cam didn't want to admit that his dad was right about Bob being an asshole. And again, the only two things that have made Bob an asshole are smashing the radio and then, telling him to wreck his own dad.
Yeah.
There's the only two things. Everything else he's been seems like a normal human being.
Yeah, that was a real asshole move, smashing that beautiful little AM/FM CD combo just for the radio show.
End of this conversation, Travolta wants Cam back in his car and back working at the shop and all that stuff. And also, we should mention, apparently Travolta, he was leading the points this time, and there's no follow-up to that. Like, obviously he wrecked his car, but he's done for the season, apparently. Who the fuck knows?
I spent most of the second half of this movie just cackling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all bad. So the next day he's back at his shop, and he's talking about buying a new race car. Like, his wrecked car, they could probably fix it, but he's like, I just want to get a new car. So he finally decides to sell the Death Stang, and he sells it to Bob of all fucking people, because apparently Bob had offered him money years ago for the thing. But Bob is like, well... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, he also has a flashback of his wife during this, and it's where we learn that she looks exactly like Shania Twain.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, she does. So, Bob, the offer's still on the table, but he doesn't, he thinks Sam is done, and he wants to beat Sam one more time. Some bullshit about racing, but he agrees to buy the car, and say, Travolta's like, I'm going to drive it to you. Don't pick it up. So he picks the car up, and he decides to drive the car around the dirt track one more time, and then also go do donuts in front of Shania Twain's school where she teaches.
Yeah.
Again, why? Like, what the fuck?
He also goes to tell Shania, I think I'm in love with you, which is what every girl wants to hear.
Women love that.
She doesn't say it back. She's just like speechless.
If there's one thing that women love, it's a non-committal statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So then they go over to Stumpy's buddy who's building this race car, and apparently, even though Sam's this legendary driver, the mechanic doesn't know who he is, which is very odd.
It's because he races 3 times a year at the Talladega Short Track.
So then the guy starts talking about this race car, and he goes over all the specs, and he mentions it's a rocket chassis, and he goes over a bunch of different name brands that are on this car, but then he also says performance friction brakes, which I thought was very funny. So they're talking about money, and the guy wants $85,000 for it, and Sam only has $80,000. But then Stumpy offers up a rebuilt 51 Panhead motor as part of a trade, and he's like, I owed you one anyways, and we don't know why yet. Well, in a minute we're gonna learn. So they're
just
back.
To clarify, PFC is a real company.
Well, when I hear performance friction, I think of Ray Bestis or whatever. So, whatever, Rob. Don't fucking, anyways.
I'm surprised they got Rocket right,
Yeah. So now they're back at Sam's house, and, they're working on the car, and Stumpy's leg is bothering him. Shania asks him about why, how he got this stump, and they go into the story and why Stumpy owed Sam one. Apparently in 1973, when they were kids and they were fishing, a gator got to him and bit his leg off. And
that's why the fish weren't biting.
Yeah. Sam
North
saved
Alabama.
him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's plausible, I guess. This was the most excruciating series of dialogue I've seen in a movie in a long time. I'm sorry, continue. I'm just fucking angry.
There's another brief scene where, for some reason, Cam goes over to the shop by himself, I guess to look at the new race car, and then you see his wife and then Sam Travolta roll up just to greet him. Again, no, they're completely unnecessary scene. Like, that's it. They don't even talk or anything. It's just like them looking at the car and that's it.
Yeah,
So
that
now,
whole scene where he pulls up next to her vehicle and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Cam's inside." And the camera pans and Cam's literally like 5 feet in front of them inside the race car. It's very clearly obvious.
and how did he get in the car with a fucked up leg like that? 'Cause those things are not easy to get into. So now we're at the final time for another season. This is the third season in this movie that they're starting off now, apparently. So they get the car finished. Everybody's excited and ready to go. Sam is not driving anymore. He's, just the car owner again. Cam and Bob are again battling for the lead. They're just ticking through like every 10 seconds. You'll see, it's lap 5, it's lap 18, it's lap 28, like just
and now it matters
through.
For some reason.
End of the race, Cam spins out and stalls the car, and he's threatened to go a lap down and apparently disqualified, which that doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
But he gets the car refired just in time, and then all of a sudden, checkered flag comes out. That means it's 1 lap to go. What? What the? Okay.
How are you gonna get rocket chassis and performance friction brakes right, and have Red Farmer in your movie and be flying a checkered flag for 1 lap to go?
Yeah.
I do not understand.
So, Cam ends up winning the race, thanks his dad in Victory Lane, and that's the end of the fucking movie. As the credits start to roll, we get one final shot of Cam doing a victory lap with his wife literally hanging out of the car. Like, her feet are inches from the track.
Yeah, sitting on the window. Yeah.
Again, nobody does that, ever. And that's it. That's the end of the fucking movie.
Well, as the credits roll, we get an extended footage of them at Cam's baby's first birthday party for absolutely no reason.
I didn't get that far, and apparently I didn't miss anything. So.
I was about to shut it off as the second the credits hit. I was like, no, I bet you there's more to look at here. And completely unnecessary footage.
Yep.
But you do get a good shot of her.
It's unnecessary footage.
Yeah, it just again, I as Rob said, I totally understand why none of us had really heard of this or no one's ever talked about it, because it's just awful. Like, it's awful, not in a fun way. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing funny. It's just bad.
There were some laughs.
I mean, there were
supposed to be laughs.
They weren't supposed to be, but they were there.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, why this was made. And who spent the money on this?
Yeah, just so many unanswered questions that we'll probably never learn the answers to, because I'm done. I don't ever want to think about this movie ever again or watch it or anything. So
I think the most annoying part to me was just it was like the Monroe and Linsky beef, like the Hatfield McCoys, but they never explained the beef.
Just that they're rivals. That's it.
Yeah. It's like somebody saw Madhouse, the Bowman Gray show, and decided just to take the trailer they watched for that or the commercial and make a whole movie out of it, but put it on dirt with steel block modifieds that go 30 miles an hour for some reason. I don't know. There's not much to say. I just don't understand why they made it. I don't understand how John Travolta must owe a lot of back taxes or something.
Yeah.
Do watch it. Please suffer along with us, but
I know, like, Michael Madsen is was a car guy and into racing, but it's still, he didn't make this movie.
He'd never know it. I'm just hoping
for a long time.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for a long time, if anyone ever asked me who the most famous person was that followed me on Instagram, it was Michael Madsen, and I have no idea why he followed me, but he did. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Free Willy is still his greatest movie.
That's a fact. I'm just hoping
He
that
was in Reservoir Dogs. What the fuck are you talking about?
Free
Free Willy.
Oh, okay.
I'm just hoping that Red Farmer got $500 and a free meal out of the deal.
Yeah, I
Hope he
would
enjoyed that.
He got a free retirement ceremony out of
Yeah.
it. So, all right. So that means it's time to talk about another video of the week, and this we're gonna give you guys a nice palate cleanser. We all suffered
Thank
through this
God.
together, and I can't do 2 weeks in a row of horrible content. So
It's a NASCAR puppet
Can't
show.
Well, the Prime shows a puppet show at the end of every broadcast.
That is true.
Hopefully somebody puts together a compilation of all the puppet stuff so we can watch that at some point. But no. So this week for video of the week, this is actually I was kind of looking for this a while ago and couldn't find it, but History Channel just uploaded this a week and a half ago. We're gonna watch an episode of American Pickers that is all about NASCAR. I'm trying to look up the title here. It's just titled NASCAR Challenge, Season 3, Episode 12. They go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and then they look for a bunch of old NASCAR shit. So I figured, that'll be a nice palate cleanser. We all like American Pickers, and it'll be a fun one. So that is the video of the week next week.
Unless some guy finds a car from the movie Trading Paint and tries to...
All right, well, let's see. So NASCAR is in Pocono this weekend. Great race to watch on TV, horrible to attend in person.
Yeah.
I will be watching that. And, I don't think I'm going to any race stuff this weekend. Are you guys doing any? Oh, obviously Rob is doing race stuff this weekend, but...
Nah.
Yeah, hopefully the rain holds off.
Yeah, I very briefly was looking into coming home for a long weekend and going to Mr. Dirt next week, but unfortunately that is not going to be able to pan out, so I will not be attending.
What a shame.
That sucks.
Yes, it is a shame, but, what are you going to blame Toby? It's his fault.
Yeah, that's easy to do. Yeah, I would, obviously no one who goes to Claremont listens to this, but they rescheduled the Smack 350 Super Modified show for this Friday night. Weather forecast does show rain if you look at the app, but it doesn't seem like it's really going to come to fruition. We're talking like a 20% chance, and if it does, it's a passing shower. So I think we're all systems go for this Friday at Claremont. Plus the Outlaw late models, I believe, and all the other divisions. The fucking Pure Stocks put on a fuck of a show every week. And if you can't make it out and say hi to me, make sure you tune in on pitrow.tv, and you can see all the action there.
Cool. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at meetmeatapplebees. I am Speedway Screens and all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
Still Snake Mountain True Love. I have nothing to promote, but I do support you listening to the record that Rob is definitely about to plug.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Sam the Man Monroe _unofficial on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains. Glad somebody caught that.
It took me a second. I was like,
No,
Rob Motes _unofficial on Instagram. Again, my band's called These Wild Plains. Charlie Marie's new record is finally out in the world. It's called Signs. You can listen to that wherever you stream music, or if you want, you can buy it from her Bandcamp page. Very proud of that record. And thank you, True Love, for the kind words. Just really, really happy that's out in the world. I know she put a lot of, she put her whole self into those songs, and we were really proud to be a part of it, and glad to share it with the world and give it to you guys. It's not ours anymore. It's the universe's. So give that a listen, and if you like it, feel free to shoot her some scratch and get a piece of vinyl in return.
we got any tours coming up? Maybe
Probably in the fall, I think, is what we're looking at. But
Nice.
there will be shows. She's playing a lot of solo stuff over the summer. It's expensive to hire a band,
yeah.
and she pays us well. So she's got to do her thing. But she's playing all over New England if you want to see her solo or with our guitar player, Nick. Those shows are worth the price of admission always. But next full band one, I think, is in July. And then, like I said, we'll have some tour dates coming up in the fall, I'm certain. And I'd love to see you guys out there. But that's a few more weeks of Hell Tour off until we can start talking about that.
Cool. Well, with that, looks like the check is here. So thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to y'all next week.